my meatball
on top of Old Smoky.
all covered with cheese.
And my meatball
When somebody sneezed. What is it?
I have no idea the rest of it.
But I know the teacher one.
What's the teacher one? What do you mean the teacher one?
What is it? It's like you're like it's roasting your teacher. It was like a song that's to like mock your teacher in elementary school. What is it? I went to her funeral. I went to her grave.
Oh my god, mocking. It sounds like a threat.
Good.
We're back.
And deader than ever.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Tamra.
And this is
Ghoul
Beans.
We're really feeling ourselves.
Yeah. We're Nancy and Frank.
Sinatra.
No, just Nancy and Frank.
That's my alternate identity.
What's your alter ego? I feel like she'd be so exciting. Oh, it's Nancy.
They're like, oh, like Nancy Drew, like no, like Nancy.
I feel like Nancy Drew would sound like that though.
Nancy.
Nancy Drew.
Guys.
Stop.
O'Reilly's. Oh, auto parts.
That's only in Illinois.
O'Reilly's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Shake Shack is not only in Illinois.
No, it started on the East Coast, I think.
Shake Shack was in San Diego. I was just in San Diego for the pod.
San Diego. Tell us your favorite and worst thing.
Okay. I'll go worst thing.
As a Midwest bestie, you have to give the highlight and the low lights.
Yeah. I would say low light first
Okay.
is that there must be a group chat in which every San Diegan is in which they agree to go to the spot where I'm going to go before I get there. And they take up all the parking and nobody honks even if it's imminent death, there's no honking.
They don't know how to zipper either.
Nowhere does.
Nowhere does.
Nowhere
That's
does.
Purely Chicago.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
When we go to Nashville,
Yeah.
we have always said, oh, God, here we go. Like, once we know we're in Kentucky because the driving starts getting really bad.
Yeah.
Because in Nashville, they come to a full parked stop to merge.
They're like reversing. They're like, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I just gotta get in here.
Yes. They do reverse on the highway. And then you can leave your car on the side of the road, and that's it. You can just leave it forever. But yeah, so worst thing is that there's absolutely nowhere to park, and yet it's an unwalkable city. And then whenever you do need to park, you have to park in a parking garage. That's $30.
Yeah.
That's the low light.
Highlight?
The food is incredible.
Yeah.
The Mexican food, I love Chicago Mexican food, but we can't compete because they're next to the border.
Yeah.
And the Vietnamese food because they're right across the ocean. Pho is like my number 2 favorite food ever. We had so much pho and all of it was delicious. And for them, all of it was mid. Like we went to this random, it's called Point Loma Pho. And excuse me, it was so fucking good. We were like moaning in the restaurant. And then it was like number 13 on everybody's list of favorite pho places. And
Did
then
you
we
go
went
to the top one?
No. The top one you need like it's like a fancy little schmancy. But we went to the number 1 recommended sushi spot. It's called Azuki Sushi. That was the freshest fish I've ever had.
That's nice. Matt got me into sushi too, and it's just so much nicer to like sushi.
It is. It is. It takes exposure.
It does. It really does. Was exposure therapy.
Yeah.
Being like, I won't get salmonella from this.
Yeah, because it's like I thought that you could just fucking grab salmon and then just cut it up and put it in sushi.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be sushi grade sushi.
Yeah.
And otherwise you will poison a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
And I recommend to people of the pod who maybe want to get into sushi but they're afraid, go to like a shitty sushi place first. Like go to like Sushi Station for the Midwest and get like universally loved commercial, fairly cheap
California roll.
Yeah, like anything that has like a sauce on it, you know, and that'll slowly get you into it because then you start feeling brave.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's how I did it with this one. And then by the time we went to Azuki Sushi, I was having like just the nigiri on top of the rice.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not bad.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And we had this like tuna crispy rice. Fuck me up. So like the food out there is really good. But there's not that many of them.
Oh.
Like there's delicious food in the 31 food places you can go.
It's very weird there. The city is like, it's small and it can't get bigger, you know? Because it's like the ocean's right there and then all the houses are there.
And it can't be cohesive because of the mountains and
Yeah. I remember that.
Another highlight being the San Diego Zoo. $71 worth every penny.
Yeah.
Don't go to the safari park. If you have a choice, go to the zoo.
Yeah. So fun.
So much fun.
I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Yeah, we did. We overall had a good time. Of the places I've been, it's not in my top 3.
Yeah, and you went during the eclipse.
Oh my God.
2 weeks of the eclipse, so like
we're going to be in the path of totality.
I don't know what that means.
It means that it's going to be a full eclipse over Illinois.
Yeah, but not here. I think we get 94%. I know Carbondale gets 100%.
But it'll look like 100.
Right. Like, I don't care. It's the sun.
Right.
Like, it's going to look bright to me.
It's going to look dark, actually.
I don't have special glasses.
When it's at totality, you don't need them. But if you want to, like, look at it before then, you need to get some.
I don't have any.
A lot of local libraries just have them for viewing.
Okay.
Are you guys going to look at the eclipse?
Yeah, are you? Are you?
Yeah. I'm going to be at work, but they're taking all the kids outside to go look at the eclipse.
Just like in the Veronica movie.
Oh, yeah. Very Veronica vibes.
That's all I keep thinking about. You know, because they say this happens every 7 years. I don't even remember it happening before.
Yeah. So I think what they're talking about is that it's an eclipse season because there was 2 eclipses.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But it's like the lunar eclipse happens way more often than the solar eclipse.
Yeah.
And I remember there being an eclipse not that long ago.
Yeah, a lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like stuff, you know, there's always something happening. It's like the super moon, the super blue moon, the super red murder moon.
But the eclipse is like we're going to see. Like that's something that like it's going to get dark out and cold.
It's going to be crazy.
So what I did to like look at it was I put my phone like this, not the camera, but like my phone.
Oh.
And I saw the reflection of it and you could see the eclipse.
Oh, that's way smarter actually. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to get the glasses.
I do. I want to look right at it.
I'm just going to look at it. What happens? You don't go blind.
Yeah, it can really damage your eyes.
Well, I'll let you know what happens.
Oh, God.
My mom said you said, I'll get boils?
Yeah, don't your eyes like blister or something?
She did say they'll melt out.
I don't think that they'll melt.
But then she told me that I could just like cut slits through a cardboard box.
So that's wrong.
And like I was like,
No.
are those the people that told you to crawl under the desk for the atomic bomb? They told you to cut the cardboard.
And she said, yeah, probably.
Like, yeah. She made that face like
I know that there is an alternative in which you can stack a bunch of like old film. Did you hear that?
I did. But Matt's doing the
Oh,
dishes.
he's here.
Yeah. We're not alone.
We could stack up a bunch of like old film and hold it and that.
I'm just going to do what you did with the thing. I'm just going to look straight at it.
Oh, you're not going to see anything.
What do you mean?
You're not, if you look at it well. The eclipse.
It's eclipse season, baby.
If you look at it while it's not in totality, the sun is still really bright. You won't see it. You have to like wait. You'll still be like blinded by the sun.
Well, they say not to look at the sun, and I look at the sun sometimes.
That's okay.
All right,
don't.
This will just be one of those
Where I look straight at the fucking sun. Whatever. You're gonna be wearing that shirt.
Everything hurts.
How have you been?
How have I been? I've been going through it, honestly. But a highlight, I graduated college.
Period.
We
gotta go celebrate.
What?
We have to go celebrate.
I know. I'm so excited. So I have a master's now.
You're a master.
I'm the master of technology.
Wow.
I control the robot.
You are Dune.
I don't know.
You are.
Okay, great. So that's been nice. But yeah.
Eclipse season has been
kicking my little booty.
So sorry.
This okay.
So we'll celebrate when you're...
I'm starting to feel better. I feel like, you know what? It's really been it's been bad. But I feel different.
Okay.
Yeah, like complete mental shift. Like when I say that the eclipse season got me, it got me.
Yeah.
And like,
well, we're also going through our Saturn return.
She returned, baby. She's parked in the garage. She parallel parked that bitch.
I also told you recently that I felt like my frontal lobe fully formed finally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you feeling that?
I feel like the hard shell around my brain melted off.
Period.
Yeah. So I feel great.
Well.
No, I feel wonky a little bit because it's just like hard to go through such a not rough, but like big transition all at once. But like, I feel good.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So I feel like
it'll come and go in waves though.
The tarot card reader that we had, she spot on. Like I want to go back to her.
I'm trying to think of, I can only remember a few things for you.
It was a lot of like change, a lot of like coming into your own, and a lot of it happening like
all at once.
Yeah.
And she asked us about our Saturn return. We're like, we're going through it literally right now.
Yeah. So I'm really
oh my God.
excited.
I'm so happy for you that you're on the up end of things. And again, I said like things will come and go in waves.
Yeah.
Like, especially, we have a history of mental illness. We're a mental health advocacy pod.
Yes. Well, I thought about it. If I had I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, if I had a baby, I wouldn't be like a young mom.
No, you'd be a mom.
I'm like, honestly, almost for like geriatric. I'm 5 years away from No, literally 35 is considered geriatric.
I know.
Like
a geriatric pregnancy.
Had she had a geriatric pregnancy.
How old was she?
35.
My mom was 25 when she had me.
Yeah. That's how old she was when she had Aaron.
Yeah. Which was also a normal age. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Having babies in I think if you're 23, you're a young mom.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
25, you're like just a mom.
Right. I'd be like an older mom. No, I'm serious. No, I would literally be considered like an older mom. I think it's smart to wait till your 30s to have kids because I'm currently seeing what it does to you when you don't.
I think that having kids when you're 30 is now like the norm. Right. So like amongst our peers, you're normal, completely normal.
Oh, yeah.
But amongst our parents, like we're already getting old.
Right.
To have children.
I know. I don't know any of my friends that like, I know one person I know that is a friend has a baby and that's it.
I don't know any.
It's wild.
And good for us.
Yeah. Good for them.
Right. I guess my brother and his partner are going to have a baby, but
that's it.
That's it.
That's incredible.
Wow.
What a generation. I like it.
Me too. Good for us.
What are we drinking?
Hex. It's in Chicago. It's in like the Roscoe Village area. They're like their own coffee. What is it called? Roastery. They have their own beans and shit. Yeah. This is decaffeinated.
Yeah, it's got really cool artwork on. The whole place has a lot of cool artwork, but all their coffee bags have it. It's really good. Tamara guessed all the notes straight away. Coffee, caramel, and toffee, and you can actually taste
chocolate.
Them. Yeah. No,
coffee was a note.
That's a note.
Yeah.
It tastes a little coffee.
You heard of it?
I like it with creamer too. It's like naturally sweet though.
Yeah, there's like I feel like, and I just got a lot of those from just sniffing it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is very flavorful. I've never had the Hex coffee.
Yeah.
When I go, I have whatever. It's not Hex.
Mm-hmm.
It's spring break. Okay. I like the coffee too. But I put pistachio. Guys, International Delight has a pistachio latte creamer. It's so fucking good.
You're my International Delight.
International? Yeah, I guess. Not really, though.
Not really.
We wish.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
I'm going to Mexico because I don't want to go to Canada.
Literally. I don't speak Spanish.
It got very real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need to learn.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hop your ass on some Rosetta Stone, baby.
I'm going to do Duolingo.
You're not going to have it functional Spanish at all.
Hola.
Cinco Bailar Fiesta. That's going to be you.
They're going to be like, we're building a wall to keep you out. I feel like that's fair. You should have done that a long time ago. That's smarter. But people can like tightrope across. Oh, well.
Oh, like, how do you mean?
What do you mean? How do I mean? What does that mean?
Like Spider-Man up the inside. It'd have to be a really big well. And they'd have to wait for you to be dead before they threw in another body.
Because I could use that body to climb up. Mush.
Ew!
We're climbing, Jerry. And I just like hop on his back.
He's like, I can't. You're like, throw me.
Basket toss me.
A one-person basket toss.
Just picture him like kneeling like.
You're not even gonna get halfway up it.
I didn't know I was already in the well. When
You're in the well.
Tight roping.
Oh yeah, they throw you in the fucking well.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd get up if it was a thin. If
thin
it was
enough?
a small one, I could like
Spider-Man.
We have to like. Is that called Spider-Manning? When you're like forcing your body to be
like tension.
Yeah. They do it on American Ninja Warrior all the time.
Or like as children, we do it in doorways.
I actually never did it.
Oh, really? I used to do it in our hallway all the time.
I should try doing it now. I think I did it in college.
Are these walls secure?
No.
Okay, because
I'll
I'm
go
like,
right through.
In my 1970s home, that was acceptable, but I would not do that in an apartment.
I think I did it in college with like the concrete dorm walls.
Oh, I did it. There's a picture of me doing it.
Yeah.
In McCabe in the hallway.
Yeah. That's what you gotta do. I feel like I was there Spider-Man during that time.
You took the picture.
I think I was like, climb the wall. You were like, okay. So that's what I do with Jerry. Jerry, I'll take your picture. Just climb it.
Oh my God! Speaking of Jerry, Uncle Julio, he's down for the count, bro.
What do you mean?
The one in Lincoln Park shut down.
No.
And they didn't notify employees until the day they closed.
Why do they keep doing that?
Because they're not going to get in trouble.
Remember when we were at
Uncle Julio's?
No, we were at Red Robin when the employees found out that it was closing down.
She's like, we just found out today.
Yeah, she literally was like, we just got the call that we're shut down forever.
Was talking to us through the glass door as
like,
she's taping.
Let us in.
She's like, there's no one in the kitchen, bro. Like, I can't. It was crazy.
It's wild because, like, it was like 11. So they had already, like.
At opening.
They had already, like, set up. You can't shoot, like, an email blast the night before. Like, by the way, we're closing.
Don't clock in.
Yeah. Right. Or, like, have it up for your employees so that when they walk up to the door, they're like, oh, that seems shitty, though.
If you know you're going to close and file Chapter 11 bankruptcy, you're not doing that overnight.
Right.
You've been knowing.
And, like, I don't understand.
Because they don't want people to quit. They want them to work up until the very last second. Damn. Very, very Dune. Guys, go watch Dune.
That feels very wrong. That feels very not legal.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's extremely illegal, and yet they're not going to get in trouble.
Damn.
I don't know how to transition to our spooky topic.
Today
is the ghouls being ghouls.
We're gonna be a little bit ghouly, and I don't know. So we're doing cave systems. Did you do I did ghosts in caves?
Yeah, I did. I did haunted caves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we were doing just the spookiness of a cave system.
No, but let's talk about that for a second.
How all the correlated, how the map of where people get kidnapped
or
and
go missing
correlate almost exactly to the T of a map of the cave systems of the United States.
Because there's no way you're getting found.
There's no way you're getting found. So I think that there are cave people.
Okay.
Communities of cave people.
Oh. I think that, I don't know, okay. Similar, but not exactly. We had a layover in Denver.
Yeah.
At Denver International Airport. Lucifer, shout out. He's anatomically correct, very spooky. Don't Google him. Big blue horse, red eyes, humongous nutsack. Horrible.
Everything about him.
Horrible. But underneath the airport are tunnel systems.
Mm-hmm.
Tunnels, miles and miles and miles and miles. And if you've ever seen the movie Nope.
I haven't.
Not Nope. Get Out.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, I don't think that we have tethers, but I do think that there's people living underground and surviving and thriving. Also, the Denver International, we should do a whole episode on that fucking thing. It's like haunted in itself. But do I think there's cave people? I don't know if there's cave people, but I do think that there's an underground people.
Yeah, I think
tunnel systems that
Yeah, I believe. That's what I meant. So
there's abandoned.
We're in agreement.
Yeah. Well, I mean the tunnels in Chicago even there's I don't follow this TikToker, but I sometimes get these videos of these people who explore abandoned shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they just lifted a grate in the middle of the downtown and went in there and just went forever, just kept walking straight and found ruins from the I call them ruins because it's from the old fair.
No,
from the World's Fair. There's shit that's covered in porcelain faces and shit. Yes.
Wait. Yes. So did they contact someone, a museum or something? I don't know.
I know. I was contact? I have to go back and find it. But
my ass would take that shit.
I know, me too. Actually, you couldn't. They were huge. It was pillars. You wouldn't be able to get out the grate with them. Wow. Yeah, and they thought they heard people, so they there's a little ladder portion. I mean, all this shit was completely abandoned. And if you think about it, there's so much of the tunnels that are in Chicago that are completely abandoned. Mm-hmm. Because there's the Pedway system in Chicago, for those that don't know, was created for easy transport and walkways and access during the cold winter months of Chicago. And I don't know if a lot of people still use them, but they're obviously the ones that are used are well lit. There's it's a just completely empty hallway, or there's food stalls and shit. But there are tunnels that have been closed off. 100% you can access that shit.
Yeah.
The underneath of malls. Yeah. There's tunnels under there.
Yeah. I think if anything, if this podcast has taught me anything, it's taught me a lot about Al Capone's whereabouts when he was, and there are always tunnels. There's tunnels every fucking where. So.
And I feel anytime there's, another thing is that anytime there's a tunnel creature.
Yeah.
They get you, and there's no not getting you. A Wendigo, that lures you in the tunnel. There's so many things about getting lured in the tunnel. How the fuck are you going to get back out? You're not. No. The movie The Descent.
That's one of the best scary movies.
Seriously. You've never seen The Descent.
Oh, we're going to watch it. Let's watch it. I love that movie.
Okay, great. I love that. Oh, we're watching it.
Oh, we're watching it. Actually, goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
I wonder if you guys have seen The Descent. If you haven't, go watch it. It's actually horrifying.
Yeah.
Also, the creature from Sinister.
Yeah.
Mr. Boogie.
Yeah.
Bagul.
A bagul.
He's wet.
He likes his job. He's very moist.
Yeah. And the creature, remember, under my bed that was going to grab me by the ankles? He was kind of wet.
You have like a texture thing.
Yeah, I don't like them slimy.
Sinister, that guy was creepy.
He is scary.
Yeah.
And it goes against my rule of like, you don't see them that often.
Yeah.
And that's scarier. It goes against it because you see him kind of often.
Yeah.
But he's scary.
Yeah, I like the way they make you see him. I think
in the background of photos and
yeah, like that's fucking scary.
Yeah, it is.
I'm trying to think of something else that does that.
Well, Pennywise, you see him.
Yeah.
But he is also, they do the same thing with the...
He's also wet. He's actually not, but he should be.
He should be.
He lives in the sewers.
He's sometimes wet.
He's a spider.
But they do the same thing with the film camera, where like... It's the same like vibe. And the guy who did produced Paranormal Activity. So there's a lot of like the not found footage. Yeah, technically it is found because Ethan Hawke finds the footage.
Yeah. What was the name of the Sinister guy?
Bagul.
Shut the fuck up. I literally have a story that has Bagul in it.
Yeah, he eats children.
Okay, well, let me tell that story first because that's spooky as hell.
Okay, pause for water.
I heard it for a second. I also have a story to tell you.
Oh, should we tell that first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
to begin our spooky portion.
Here is a personal anecdote. A man and I were having like a very serious talk on our couch, and it was pretty late, and we were kind of just like sitting there.
Oh God, I'm already having tense in my chest.
Literally. So, and people had been coming like in and out of the door, not our door.
Oh, I was like
front door of our apartment building because you can hear it close and stuff. Nothing. And then we're sitting there and we're kind of just like chilling for a second, and all the glasses on our bar cart start rattling. Yeah. We both we were like, and just stared at it, and then it stopped.
So like this, whatever this is about that right now. The fuck?
Actually, never fucking mind.
Yeah, tense moments, like high energy, like both of us are really focused.
Yeah.
That brings shit out, bro.
Yeah.
It does. That happens to us sometimes.
Oh my God, it was horrible. I was like, that's great.
And then it throws all this shit off that we were just talking about. I'm like, okay, anyway, what was I?
Yeah. I was like, okay, I guess we could just like take a breather.
Yeah, let's just have like, should we just eat or something? Like
we played like Mario Kart.
Yeah. You need to.
It was just too much, but yeah, it was so spooky.
And there was no door noise or nothing.
No, nothing. And then like more people like had gone in and out, and nothing happened. And we looked at each other. We're like, so this place is fucking haunted.
Oh yeah, okay. We're at the point where we can say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if anything happened, honestly.
Well, yeah, you've had more activity in this house already than any other house.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird? What is this fucking place? You can feel it too. I felt like the second we moved in, I was unhappy with this apartment.
The thing is that it's very homey and cozy. I think that if it had just like more windows, I wouldn't feel so. It is a little bit oppressive.
It's like we made it homey and cozy.
Yeah,
but like
you did.
the general just like vibe of it is very like boxed in. So anyway, that happened.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It was crazy though. I was like, I have to tell that on the pod. Did anything happen in San Diego?
No, we were just like scared of humans.
That's fair. They're scarier.
Yeah. Anything that's scary can be made scarier by human beings.
Absolutely. Okay. This is called The Cave Ghost by Gunnerman28. This happened last September, but I kept procrastinating to post it till last night. Some friends and I like to go hiking on the weekends, often bring some other friends with us, trying to get to new places as often as possible. Near my hometown, there's this small inactive volcano, which has a cavern system, and for a while now, another friend and I have been trying to map the thing out. What a crazy,
I was just thinking, no, I'm not doing that.
That's not your job.
Are you a certified spelunker?
Right.
I doubt it.
Oh my God. So
I don't even want to be near a cave if there's no one around.
No,
if I'm with a tour group, that's way fucking different. We're looking at stalactites.
Yeah.
I'll look at a stalactite, stalagmite.
Right. But I'm hiking with my friend and we come across a cave.
Let's map it.
I am hard circling that.
I'm going like this. I'm going, let's go.
Let's run away right now. When I went with my mates in September, we got inside the main cavern, maybe a mile long, up to the point where you can't go any further without spelunking gear, and God knows how deep. I was leading the group because, again, I've been there the most. Because it was a leisure trip, we were just having a good time, joking, having fun, and usual stuff. In that spirit, I thought it would be funny to put some ambient to the activity and played some aghast.
Ambiance.
Yeah, okay. Put some ambiance to the activity and played some aghast, an atmospheric black metal band that supposedly used summoning rites in their recording.
I feel no...
Right.
I feel nothing for you.
You did this to yourself.
You begged for it, actually.
Oh, this is... Like, why are you even listening to that? You're asking for activity.
You're actually literally going, please.
The demon's like, you got it. Still taking into consideration... Oh, wait. Atmospheric. To be honest, I've never believed that to be more than just a gimmick because, 90s black metal. Still, taking into consideration everything, it may hold some truth. Everything was normal. The music played out from my Bluetooth speaker. We did the whole tour, and on the way back, as I was leading the group out, the last bloke in line asked us to lend him our torches so he could snap a group picture. We just turned 180 and did so, posed, and kept hiking. Got out, home, and called it a day. This is where stuff gets interesting. Okay.
I hate that it followed them.
My thing, first of all, how dare you play that music? And, hopefully you told everyone.
With me?
Yeah, if you played that music, first of all, I'm not, into heavy metal. Already, that's just kind of scary vibe in a fucking cave.
Right. I mean,
I will literally
I have trouble with the spirit box.
Yeah. So, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, you better have told every single person in that group, what this 90s metal band potentially might have done.
How is it ambient? What is it called? Shall we listen?
No, we don't want to play that out loud.
No, but let me see. Let me Google them.
Okay. Atmosphere. Oh, aghast. For people, it's called aghast. Don't listen though.
Aghast.
But
music.
The 80s was it the 80s where Satanic Panic was happening?
Literally, the first one's called Sacrifice. Second one's called Enter the Hall of Ice. Call from the Grave. Das Irrelicht.
So my thing is maybe choose some waterfall noises.
Or don't play music.
Right. Anything.
Happy by Pharrell.
Actually, that's just as bad for me.
True.
Normally, after a long hike, I tend to sleep really sound when I get home. But that night, I kept feeling uneasy, like something bad was going to happen. I didn't sleep much. The next day, one of my mates posted the pics, and we noticed that indeed something was next to me in one of the pics. So I guess that was the reason. When I got home that night, I swear I could see that thing for glimpses, with its pale face and pitch black eyes just staring at me, sizing me up. When I went to bed, I'll be honest, I was about to shit myself, as I was in bed and could see it just standing by my door, then getting closer to me. At some point, I just started cursing at it, telling it that if I was going to go down in my home, I would put up a damn fight. And surprisingly, that thing, I'll just call it Bagul, like the one from the movie Sinister, looked puzzled at that, like an actor that doesn't know how to follow when another actor ad-libs or something. I kept at it, and the Bagul just left. Thing is, it didn't surrender just as that. For a couple of weeks, it kept throwing pebbles at my window, which means that he must be a great pitcher as I live on the 3rd floor, and making weird noises. It just stopped little by little, as if it just got bored. So, I don't know. You don't want to mess with, nature spirits, I feel like.
I always think of Appalachia.
Yeah. I feel...
Why would I do that?
Right.
It's older than bones.
You have a ghost in your house that's, from the Victorian age. That's still a human, I don't know. Even demons, the the church has a whole segment of, exorcists. Like people at least like have like a little bit of experience knowing what to do. This guy doesn't sound like he is involved in a culture that might have like land spiritual backgrounds,
Right, but like nature's
he
alive.
sounds white. I'm saying he sounds white.
Yeah, his name's Gunter.
Yeah, and so
nature's alive.
Right.
So all that energy, and like think about how long it had been till you stumbled upon the cave. Like,
right.
All that energy. I believe in energy. Things have energy.
Yeah.
And thinking about like the 2 times that we were ever in like the forest.
Yeah.
And it was
spooky.
I mean, the energy was crazy.
Yeah.
Especially with the human cave. I mean, the human nest.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I didn't tell you. I looked up nest in the forest on TikTok.
That's a thing.
It's a thing.
Shut up.
Yes, dude.
What
it's
are
a
they
thing.
saying?
And we saw one again. It wasn't as big or scary as the one that we saw.
Yeah.
But it was in the forest preserve, like called Busey Woods or something.
Yeah.
Like by Skokie.
Yeah.
Skokie Lagoon vibes.
Yeah.
It was like whoever made it so that it had like teepee vibes. But that wrapped look where it's like the wrapped wood.
Yeah.
Like the one
over
there.
I hate that.
Like woven wood. Twigs.
Right, like a pile of sticks, but like all purposely
and
placed.
Dead grass.
I hate that.
Like a bed.
Ugh. So yeah, this guy asked for it, so I don't really feel like that bad for him.
I agree. I don't feel fucking bad for him.
And I think it's wild that like being aggressive did any kind of like thing for him, but like good for him, I guess.
Yeah, maybe it hadn't encountered a human being, a modern human, in a long time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm scared of the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
I'm actually scared of them. Like I don't want to be around them.
Matt still talks about how he'd like to do like a hike through of the Appalachian Trail. I was like, you're gonna have to go alone.
I've been on it technically. Because it goes through the Smokies.
Yeah, and like that's okay. I feel like being on
the Smokies is
fine.
different.
Being on it, fine.
Yeah,
but like to hike through like and spend weeks in there, like people do that alone all the time. Anyway,
this one's called "Stay with Me" by Viejo 1953. So this is an old man, I think.
Stay with me.
No. I know I write about my stories with a slight bit of indifference, mostly because ghosts is something I have had to deal with my life from time to time. I have had a slightly harder time writing about the one experience that I feel was dangerous.
Oh, I'm excited.
I was invited, short notice, to a wedding for one of my first cousins to take place at Mazatlan, Mexico. I literally got off work midday, picked up my wife, and got to the airport, flew in, and was watching the sunset at the beach restaurant, almost surreally. The next day, we took a tour of the city and heard about the fishing fleets that didn't come back and the plagues and the rowdiness that were brought in because it was a port town. I have no connection with this part of Mexico, so I know very little about it. I figured most seaside places had one. I skipped a sentence. I apologize. The first turn of the tour was being brought to an area that had a sea cave called the Devil's Cave. Nice.
I feel like they're all like the devil's
ass.
Yeah. Satan's
urethra. I found most seaside places had one, but the guide told it
Satan's urethra would be a good seaside cave.
It'd also be a good name for a shot. It's like Malort in Tabasco.
That's incredible.
Ew, God, Jesus. He says, I figured most seaside places had one, but the guide told me it was named that because during the revolution, women were brought, assaulted, and murdered there. After such an uplifting tour, we were dropped off downtown. We went to the Carnival Museum, and it was kind of a heavy feeling. Then we heard that there was an opera house, a theater called Teatro Angela Peralta, and it had been in ruins and recently restored. There was nothing very special about it. I was in the middle of the seating area when it started feeling chilly, and it was like 98 degrees outside. I very much doubt this place had AC. Then I felt it get harder to catch my breath, and my heart was pounding. This is what I remember after that. I had an overwhelming need to walk back to the off. I had an overwhelming need to walk to the back of the theater and turn to the right hallway. The lights were off in the hall, and I kept walking. I heard a heartbeat, as if it was someone walking with me. I assumed it was my wife. I could hear breathing in my ears, and I walked down the hallway. My arms were at my side. The breathing slowed down, and I felt a hand grab mine. I could feel longish fingernails and tiny hand in my palm that let me know this was not my wife. A second afterwards, I heard a deep breath and what I could only describe as a last breath, and the hand let go. I had been walking toward a light far at the end of the hallway that curved around the auditorium. I stopped and caught my breath. My heart was pounding, and I felt sick. I had lost control of myself for what seemed like a few minutes, but was actually one, maybe. I came out of there gasping, and my wife was behind me, but like 10 feet behind. She said that she followed me into the hallway and saw the light at the end of the hallway, but could not see me in the hallway. I came out of the blue walking towards her. She had been trying to catch up with me. I didn't tell her what had happened at first. I thought I was having a heart attack. I sat and then walked to the museum of the theater. It was then that I read that the theater had been destroyed several times, that it was used as a hospital during the plagues, and the women, just like the cave, were assaulted and killed there during the revolution when the town fell. During the last time it was destroyed, it was a haven for killers and drug addicts. All that dark history in a very well-restored opera house. I told my wife that night that what happened, and she said we can never go back. I can't help but agree. That's it.
He was possessed.
And she may have just followed him over there from the cave.
Oh, you're right. Because he was already feeling like heavy.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
And then she never saw him. He came out of the blue when he walked at her.
That's disgusting. Could you imagine like following someone down a dark hallway and being
you're like trying to run, honestly?
Yeah, and you can't see them anymore, and all of a sudden they like come out at you and you're like, what the fuck?
And they're like, I think I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah, and then later they tell you that they were being walked with by a ghost.
A small hand with long fingernails.
I just like, that's so scary. And something about coming to in the middle of that very dark hallway is so horrible. That's
worst
terrifying.
Case scenario.
Yeah. That guy,
but holy shit.
Okay. So I'm going to do this next one. It's really long, but it's worth it. It's got a lot of stories in it.
Do we want to wait for coffee?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I recently Googled my 4th grade teacher, Miss Kamisiak, you dumb bitch. I fucking hated her. And she looks the same. She looks evil. She looks like the other mother from Coraline.
That's amazing.
Fuck that woman.
Damn. Not going to her grave. Not
no,
yet.
Hell no. I'm gonna pee on it.
What'd she do?
She
was she the one that didn't stop the kids from laughing?
No. She bullied me all the time. And she wouldn't let me participate in stuff because I didn't have a trapper keeper.
What? So why weren't you allowed to participate?
Because she wanted me to have a trapper keeper, and I wouldn't be allowed to participate until I got one. Literally.
I feel like that wasn't one of the necessary things.
It wasn't. She wanted it, though. She also, well, let me not say that because she'll probably sue me, allegedly got in trouble all the time for, like, putting her hands on kids. Like, putting her hand and, like, oh, God. And then,
clawing them.
Kinda. And then she was very into public shaming. So, like, if you went to the board and you did something wrong, she would be like, wrong, and have you come sit back down.
Damn.
Like, she was horrible.
She was on a power trip.
She was the only teacher I ever had, really, that I can openly be like, I fucking hated that teacher.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait. That was the teacher that, like, I used to tell my mom, like, she would see me crying on a Sunday because I got the Sunday scaries from that teacher.
Oh.
She would be like, why are you so upset? Because I really don't want to go to school tomorrow. I hate my teacher, you know? And so she got into it with my teacher a couple times.
Damn.
She had to. I'm sure the other parents did too because she was a bitch. She was horrible. And she left, like, I think the next year even.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she sounds like a terrible person that should not be working with children.
Yeah, fucking Spacey.
Okay. This is Not All Your Coworkers Are Alive by USDA approved shit. Interesting name. So it starts off with first post on Reddit, and I wanted it to be about my paranormal experience while working at the Cave of the Winds in Manitou Springs, Colorado, which I've been to. And I stopped there on our, like, no, it's honestly like kind of a roadside attraction. Like, it's got,
love those.
Yeah, it's in the mountains, and it's got one of those like adventure park things where you like strap in and climb the stuff, you know? So like if you fall off, you're hooked on, but it's got one of those. It has like a ride where you can like kind of swing down the canyon. And then it had like haunted tours or just tours of like the mines that are here. But we didn't do we should have done the haunted tour. Okay, so due to legal reasons, I can't go over tour material specifics, but I can give you a basic rundown of the tours offered and the tour I gave. As of right now, they have 3 tours open to the public: Discovery, Lantern, Caving 101, and 2 tours purely dedicated to schools and other organizations. I gave all except Caving 101, and I was an experienced spelunker and couldn't comfortably guide groups on their hands and knees through various parts of the systems. There are 2 cave systems they use: Cave of the Winds and Manitou Grand Caverns. The Lantern tour took place in the Manitou Grand Caverns, and that's the tour we're going to talk about. For some background, Cave of the Winds has electricity throughout. There's concrete and electric lights through the entire cave, even stairs and handrails for accessibility. The Manitou Grands has no electricity aside from an emergency use call box in the first and main cavern. There's no concrete, no usable handrails, and only 2 staircases formed by hand from the naturally existing limestone. We didn't go on the tour because it was all booked up that day. That is why it's the Lantern tour, because we guide people through the cavern and with actual metal bucket lanterns with only the dim flicker of firelight to guide us.
So that's going to be a no for me.
We did carry flashlights to point out various formations, highlight especially slick surfaces, and in case of emergency. Did I mention that the Lantern tour was purely a haunted tour? I mean, what else are you going to make a barely visible walking through quiet, cold, dark tour about? So I don't know how many of the stories we told were true or false. I'm inclined to believe they all hold some truth to them due to my experiences. But again, I cannot go over specifics due to legal reasons. I can tell you that the underlying story was a fairly insensitive story about a Native American mummy, and for reasons I'll explain, I started paying my respects to the spirit pretty early on. During the training process, we would follow at the rear of tours, listening to our more experienced coworkers give their tours in whatever unique and individual way they did. We were constantly going on these tours. We would be in the cave for hours, just piggybacking on the next tour that started, coming through and learning from that guide what we could do. Damn, that's like so much time in caves.
I was just thinking, like, I wonder if it starts to fuck with you.
It has to, like, even if it isn't haunted, which, like, I'm sure most caves are, but, like, even if it isn't, like, just being in the dark like that for so long.
And hearing, I mean, it's called, what is it, whispering or something?
That Cave of the Winds, like,
so
you're gonna hear some shit.
That reminds me of when we were in San Diego, at the resort we stayed at, there was a restaurant called Rumerosa, which is named after this, like, natural phenomenon in this, like, desert in Mexico. Which means, like, it means what it sounds like, rumorosa, like she's gossiper, because the way that the sound works in that cave, it sounds like, like she's telling you stuff.
God, I would hate that.
Yeah, me too. Like, it sounds like women speaking.
That's terrifying. Nature is just terrible. On one particular tour, my friend and I constantly saw a figure looking out from holes in the ceiling.
What? It got so real. Hang on. Hang on. My friend and I saw creatures.
A figure. Worse.
Way worse.
Glittering eyes just watching us, following us. And I'm not putting a lot of emphasis on this because I want to stress that it wasn't scary. No, really. You're taught from day one that caves will mess with and distort your sense of reality. It is already too dark to see 5 feet in front of you and so quiet that when left alone, you'll hear your blood in your ears. So if I think I'm seeing a little creepy golem dude hanging out on the ceiling, I'm not going to think he's real. LH and I, so his coworker, just started talking about him and joked about him, but no, it wasn't real. Like, that's what they were saying. Mm-hmm. What was real was when me and another coworker were standing side by side in a different part of the cave later that same day, standing in a long passage that led to what most people thought was the scariest room. I didn't like having the dark behind me, and I was constantly looking over my shoulder down the passage, straining to see the rotting wood fences and ladder farther down. During one over-the-shoulder glance, I caught sight of a hand sitting on the wood railing. Just a hand, nothing more, gray and not quite opaque, resting. And as I watched, it dragged away, off the railing, and vanished. I immediately pulled my coworker away, we'll call him JD, and started explaining what I'd seen. JD thought it was weird, but he hadn't seen it himself, so whatever. I hadn't had any more experiences until the end of my last tour on my first day of solo tours. So that was all while he was just training.
Oh my God.
And then
he's not going, I can't.
Right, who sees that stuff? Because, like, I feel like when you're on a tour, you're, like, listening, you're looking around.
It's intentional.
But, like, you can, like, easily, I don't know, not be paying much attention if you don't want to.
You can go somewhere else in your brain.
Yeah. So, like, you don't have to be, like, looking around. But, like, as the tour guide, you are the one directing these people. You're the one, like, looking around. You know what I mean? I don't know. Too much responsibility with the ghosts.
I mean, the second I see the gray hand,
like, slide away,
I'm taking my little vest off.
So this was a lot of fun.
And I'm done now.
Here's my lantern. I'm going home.
Oh my God, the fucking lantern. This man likes it though, seemingly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Aside from the ever-present feeling of being watched and the paranoia that just naturally comes from being in a cave, I had gotten used to the various sensations felt during the tour. I was confident on my first 3 tours, and at the end of my first day, I was guiding my group down a narrow staircase that led into the first room, which poured into Cave of the Winds through a man-carved tunnel.
Okay.
Using my flashlight to better illuminate the steps, when I turned to look down the tunnel into Cave of the Winds, I could hear that tour getting ready to do cave darkness, so I turned back to tell my tour to shine their lanterns away when my flashlight caught a pair of brown leather shoes pointed at me on the final step of the staircase. As soon as I saw them, they were gone, and I fell against the wall with a gasp. And a lady, bless her, got so excited I thought she was going to fall down with me.
Like, freaked out?
I think she was like, yeah, like, probably pumped, but also, like, scared to see the ghost as well. A gray translucent hand on a railing is one thing, but a pair of clear-as-day Victorian-era shoes pointed at you 3 feet away is another thing entirely. I feel like they're pretty similar as far as, like...
The hand's worse.
This was my first day of solo tours, and those were the feet of the man who lived in the cave, telling me that he's definitely still there. Oh, yes. Oh, fuck. I read one thing down. Sorry. Okay. I knew exactly who that spirit was. We'll call him George because he's dead and that's his name. No need to protect his ID. George was the founder of both cave systems. He lived in the Manitou Grands with his wife.
Founder?
And he regularly gave his haunted... Oh, like founder of the place. Of the little...
roadside attraction.
Yeah. And it is up in the mountains. Like, it might be a really big thing, and I just called it a roadside attraction.
Yeah, but that's the vibe it's giving.
Yeah. He lived there with his wife, and he regularly gave his own haunted tours in the same cave system.
I'm not going with George anywhere.
This was my first day of solo tours, and those were the feet of the man who lived in the cave, telling me that, yes, he's definitely still there. I don't like that he, like, lived in the cave. Like, is that, do you think he, like, lived in the cave? Or that's, like, you know, I live at my job kind of thing? Is he, like, crawling around there and people are, like, like giving tours?
I think okay, hot take.
Yeah.
I am not that afraid of Victorian era ghosts.
I feel like Victorian era ghosts are the era of, like,
I also think we're calling everything Victorian, and nobody actually knows what Victorian means.
I feel like it's like the ruffled dress in the back.
With, like, with the bustle?
Yeah. And it's the guy in the top hat with a monocle
Cane.
and a cane. And, like, I feel like those are the ones that, like, are just doing their thing.
They're just ghosts.
Yeah. They're just a ghost. Like,
you're literally just a ghost.
That girl's not rustling up to my bed and pulling my legs. Like, you know what I mean? She's not ripping my covers off. Although some places they do be doing that.
Right. I think. What do you think's in here?
In here? I don't know. We can't talk about it in here because I'm scared.
Right. Were you here for that?
No.
Damn, you have to listen to it on the pod.
I don't know. It feels like energy, and it doesn't feel like it all the time.
Travels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in this complex.
Yeah. I feel like if anything, it feels like energy. You know? It doesn't feel like a human. But it doesn't feel like a demon either.
Spirit. Yeah.
But it could be a demon. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I'd rather that than a demon, so.
Yeah, true.
Okay, I'm not going to go over the little experiences outside of these two, so I'm going to skip to the most compelling encounter I had. After a month or so of giving these tours, you could say I got a little too comfortable. I remember one particular day telling tours the activity was low and to not get their hopes up, but I made the mistake of announcing that inside the cave on the tour. Stupid move. It didn't take long for me to get the message. After guiding my tour through a barely 4-foot tall passage,
oh my God,
I stood with my back to the second staircase leading down into the main cavern. Facing my group as they shuffled into the room, while I was waiting, I heard a psst from right behind me and beneath me. And I turned, and I pulled out my flashlight, and no one was there. And however many tours I had given, never had I heard a voice, even just a psst, was more than I have ever heard.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Needless to say, I was unsettled, so I turned my back to the wall and faced my lantern down the stairs. I continued on with the tour, staying on the platform and shining my lantern on the stairs as I verbally guided my group into the main cavern. We have people stand by a fence in this room, which is to the left, and I descended the stairs. I heard extremely loud footsteps coming from the right. Now, here's the thing about paranormal encounters in group. If you're being targeted, there's a chance no one will experience the same thing. As we age, we build up mental barriers that block us from paranormal activity and spiritual encounters. Spirits can break through this at the expense of using energy, but not everyone will be affected. You could tell he'd been dealing with some ghosts. So in my group of 10, only 2 people heard those footsteps aside from myself. I shined my flashlight, and of course, no one was there to my right. My entire group had listened and stood to the left. I continued down the stairs, and I continued my tour, painfully aware that something was going on, and I was being messed with, and I knew exactly why. Nervous, I stood with my back to the passage those footsteps originated from, with my lantern shining behind me. I made a mental note of where every single person was, and I continued, only to be cut off by a sudden single step that sounded to my right. Might I add, I stood next to a wall? Okay, I'm being messed with. I am being targeted, and I don't know what's going to happen next. I tried to continue my tour when the kerosene canister was stripped from the bottom of my lantern and chucked a few feet behind me. That's why you use a flashlight, buddy.
Well, and no one was like, what was that?
I think probably they were. Now, George is nothing but an entertainer, and he put on a good show. I screamed, of course, and jumped and turned around, frantically shining my flashlight as I fell to the ground on my knees and started crying.
Oh my God, me.
I had to apologize to my tour and explain that, shit, guys, this is my first paranormal experience of this caliber. I hadn't had this happen before, and needless to say, they were all more than sympathetic and a little freaked themselves.
Yeah, seriously.
That was my biggest experience, but by far not my creepiest.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah, we're not done.
If that is like the worst thing that's happened to you, that's still really bad.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, that's the worst thing. Like, that's a horrible.
Right. And that's like just the big, like that's someone like shoved something out of his hand, but not the creepiest.
No, I guess. And if the fuck not, it's gonna have to like go like this to his eyes or something.
Yeah. I'm fucking here.
Gonna have to kiss him.
That was my biggest experience, but by far not my most romantic.
Meeting my wife, Lisa, in the cave.
We always gave tours no matter the size. Lanterns topped out at 12, but ticket booths would overbook on busy days. The only time we couldn't is if a female tour guide had a group of all males or vice versa. Well, that's good. Smart. I doubt many people do that. Me, I'm like, oh, good protection, guys. Good job. There were a few times, 3 most notably, where I gave tours to groups of 2 or 4. Ooh, those would be so scary.
Oh God,
Like, that was just 2 people.
That was the one in Seattle. It was us and one other couple.
That's horrifying. And these were always couples. On these tours, I would take them to parts of the cave off limits to the lantern tour. I would show them more of the formations, and really, they were the most in-depth tours, but also the scariest. At a certain point, I could walk into the cave and know exactly what spirits were present and what kind of activity I could expect.
Are you joking?
Could you imagine, like, being so often around, like, paranormal activity that you're like, oh, this is George, and George is going to be a bitch today?
Well, kinda.
That's fair.
With my old home.
Yeah. Ugh. George's wife was the most frequented spirit. She loved my tours, and I had the privilege of seeing her from the thigh down on multiple occasions. Romantic.
Sexy.
Always wore
your wife.
Always wore a purple dress with lacing at the hem and those black Victorian lace-up boots. You know the ones. On one particular tour, I had a foreign couple who had landed that day, and I kid you not, I have never wanted to go in the caves less than I did that day. The vibes were just off. Wrong.
Oh, no.
I felt dread, and every step I took felt heavy and forced. Thankfully, boyfriend got altitude sickness, and they called in short before we made it, and made it through the first passage. I didn't want to face whatever was waiting. Damn, I wish they had gone. I want to know what happened. On a tour with another couple, I didn't start feeling off until we got to the most scary room. And this was the only tour in which I ever felt negativity in that room. For some context, there was a 7-foot pit at the end of this room.
Oh.
And we told a story about a creature rising from the pit.
Oh my God.
Honestly, this was the peak of all my tours. I can't help but gloat. I scared my group so bad on multiple occasions, people refused to look into the pit. And several times, people would claim that they could see a figure waiting by the pit. I convinced myself I had seen it too a few times. Though I wasn't ever really scared, not until this couple. Just walking down the passage began to fill me with discomfort. All the hair on my body began to stand on end. I began to shiver and shake. I just felt absolute dread. I turned to the couple and told them what I was feeling and asked them what they wanted to do. Guys, I'm not like feeling it right now.
Bitch, my tour guide turns to me and goes, hey, so I do this for a living, and this is the first time I've ever felt like I have influenza.
Right. So, like, what would you rather do? And I'd be like, I'd rather you, like, knock me out and carry me right now.
I would be like, thank you so much for telling me. Drag me out. And I would pass out.
Thank you so much for telling me. Please carry me.
I would hold my breath until I passed out. I'm not kidding. I can't continue at this point.
And I certainly can't be running back.
Running?
Gotta get out of there as quick as possible.
No.
I'd be like, haunted house rules. I'm in the middle. You lead us out right now.
And remember, I'm in the middle, but I'm also on your back because I am blacked out. So you have to walk. Don't run. Walk. You don't know if there's any other pits in here. Imagine if the tour guide that just you, me, Matt, and Marielle are on.
Can you imagine our faces?
Turns and goes, hey, I'm not even kidding you. I'm really being dead serious.
Yeah.
I have never felt this horrible about going in there. My eyes are starting to like shut thinking about going in there. I'm getting nauseous. Look at so you can like see the goosebumps.
Yeah.
I never felt like this before. What do you want to do?
I'd be like, why is it even an option? Let's get the fuck out of here.
I would be like,
I don't know. Would we though? We get brave when we're down there. I feel like we'd be like, let's keep going.
I would be like, can I offer a flashlight?
Right. Can we switch to the flashlights?
Can we switch to flashlights? If we can, I'm bringing a headlamp. If we can, then I'm down to keep going. I would be like, are you going to pass out?
Right. Because I don't know how to get out of here. I can't carry you through these
They fall,
caverns.
hit their head.
They fall down the pit.
Now
They're
what?
pushed in the pit by the shadow person.
To be very honest, you'd have to cave scenario lizard brain. You want to just start running.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
No, yeah.
Watch the descent. Bad idea.
Yeah.
You have to calmly retrace your steps.
Yeah.
But in your mind, you want to start running towards an entrance, and that's the wrong thing to do.
I feel like I would not go further. I feel like if I genuinely saw terror in my tour guide's eyes.
If it's a woman, I'm not going.
I feel like if they were like, guys, I'm really feeling pretty spooky. Like, I'd already be scared. But if they were like genuinely like
crying,
yeah, like I don't want to go in there, I'd be like, okay, well, let's just calmly and formally walk out of here before whatever's in there follows us, please.
I would be like, because I want to get my money's worth.
Right.
I would be like, is there a way to like have a come back and see us?
Right. Can we like pop in another time?
Can we get a coupe? Can we get a rain check? Like, what's the vibe? Because if not, I think I might force myself to go in there.
Damn. I'd be so scared. I think they might.
There's only 4 of us in this entire cave, and our tour guide says that they want to not go.
Right. I don't know.
You
gotta trust them. They're the ones that know.
Right.
Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think they went. Covered in goosebumps themselves, they decided to go ahead and skip that part. And so we did.
Yeah.
I learned pretty quickly that nothing good follows those feelings, and it's unfortunate for those who decide to persist. Well, there you go.
Mm.
Coworkers have had their hair yanked, their clothes pulled, their necks choked, and some have gotten sick. Some have even passed out. Others have been pushed into the pit. Wait, how big was this pit?
7 feet deep or something?
Damn. Okay. If my coworker is getting pushed into the pit.
7-foot pit isn't too bad.
That's like a wall. Like
it's you and then another foot.
Right, but think about that. That's a pit that a ghost just pushed you into.
It would hurt. Oh, I'm saying like pit parameters, not that bad. As in terms of pits, we were talking about a well a minute ago.
I hear you. Like, yeah, someone could lend a hand and we could get out. But like the terror of being pushed into the pit by a ghost.
The way I would yank you out. The way I'd be like, you'd fly. You'd launch actually.
You'd be like, no!
I can't. Your little tiny reach, you'd have to jump. You'd get out on your own. You get a little feral when this shit happens. You'd scale the wall. Parkour.
Yeah.
You would scale the wall with your strong little hands. Those weasel fingers.
You'd punch the ghost in the face and run out.
Run up the ghost.
Ascend out of the cave.
You're lighting up the cave. I'm the ghost of Christmas future.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Pushed into the pit is horrible.
Oh, would you rather get choked out by the ghost or
pushed into the pit?
Pushed into the pit
End of scenario.
And there's only one other person with you. Get choked alone or pit with one person?
Why am I in the caves alone?
Choked alone or in the pit with one person?
It's like a weird sex question. I don't like either option. Okay, let me really think about it. Choked alone. Why am I in the cave alone? That's not going to happen.
It doesn't matter.
How
it's
about
a scenario I gave you.
Choked with one other person in the room that can't do anything.
Same shit.
Okay. I don't know. They're both horrible. So being choked is terrifying. That goes. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
You don't know if it'll end, right? Like, you don't know if a ghost is going to kill you. And then you have, like, the feeling of, like, now you have been, like, physically assaulted by a ghost. And I just don't think that'll ever leave you. But then it stops. I don't know. It stops. And then you, like, get out, right? But, like, you get pushed into the pit, and then, like, you don't know if the ghost is down there. Now you have to get out of a pit.
You don't know what's down there. Bagul.
You don't know what's down there. The devil's butthole. You are now in. Yeah. And, like, I don't know. It's like the terror.
There's one other person, though. That's different.
It's like the terror of being pushed in, and now the terror of, like, you can't immediately get out, you know? Like, the ghost stops choking you, and you can get up and leave. But, like, the ghost has now stopped pushing you, and now you're stuck in a pit.
But you're 6 feet already.
That doesn't mean I can, like...
You could lift yourself out.
I'm trying to think, like...
So you scared the fuck out of me just now.
I'm like, this is 7 feet, right? Like...
No, that's, like, another foot taller than you. Stand up straight. It's, like, maybe one more inch. Like, you see what this thing... The
yeah.
Pipe? It's, like, 1 more inch than that.
So, like, this is not easy to get out of.
No, but if you had one other person, you could get out.
Who? Luce? I'm dragging Luce into the pit. They try to lift me out of the pit. You know what I mean? And it's not, like, a wall that's at least, like, my shoulders where I can, like, get my foot
We need
up.
a neutral party. You're with?
Okay. I'm with... I feel like the 4 of us together is a neutral party.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like...
I'd rather be choked.
I was going to say, I feel like the pit's bad. I feel like it's worse.
The pit is way worse. I think there's no denying the pit. I think if I was... Leave me alone.
I think
if I was choked, I would assume it's a panic attack. And I would be like, I can get through it.
I think those are very different.
My brain would go there.
My brain wouldn't. I feel like when I'm having a panic attack, I'm being choked by ghosts.
I, like, can't breathe. It's very oppressive in here. It's like, you're having a panic attack?
Is this place haunted? My breath is not coming into my lungs.
No.
No.
We're in Walgreens, man.
But I don't like that the choke option was that I was alone. Because that's really scary.
I've never heard of anybody being choked to death by a ghost. Maybe they're all dead.
Maybe they're the next ghost, choking other people.
I'm picking choked. Even if I'm alone, I'm picking choked. Because the pit is horrible.
Comment below.
Yeah. Chat. Would you rather get choked?
That's just for us personally.
Is it the pit or is it the choking?
Yeah. But the pit with one other person and you're choked in the cabin
7-foot
alone.
pit.
7 feet tall. Let us know below. What would you choose?
Oh, you better pick choking.
That's like double your height. Yeah. Yeah.
If it's a pit in a cave, then there's grip.
But, like, you don't know.
They sanded the cave? I'm telling you, you in your brain, your lizard brain goes to panic really quick. You would get out. Even if you got to chew your way through, you're getting out.
Just chop up the wall. Oh, man.
I would make you take off your shirt, and then, like, I'd pull you by your shirt.
Oh, that's smart, actually.
But you have really bad shoulders. You got to power through. I'd hook it to your sports bra.
But what if like the
Crane you
ghost is there and you get out and it pushes you back in?
What if it pushes the other person in?
Oh, you're done. No, that's when you basket toss.
That's not a basket toss if it's one person. That's just a shot put. I would shot put you out there so fast.
You would just dive in, shot put them. And you would
run up the wall. Spider-Man. Yeah. I would like lean, if it were me and you, I would lean against the wall and make you crawl up me like a ladder. Stand on my shoulders.
I'm a ramp.
Yeah, you better dig those fucking mountain boots into my back.
I think we'd all choose choke.
Yeah, choke.
Okay.
I bet you if we ask him, he would say, "Oh, the pit."
For sure.
Clearly the pit. Bitch, what?
He can't like bend down to touch his toes, but he's gonna climb out of a 7-foot pit. That was mean because we didn't even ask him. Matt!
Oh my god, I figured out my NPC song. My holding song.
Yes, please.
It's "Million Reasons" by Lady Gaga. You're giving me a million reasons. Give me a million reasons. I bow down to prayer. Trying to make that work seem better. I sing that all the time. Okay, question.
Okay.
Here are your options.
So you're in a cave, deep in the cave. You only have a lantern.
Would you rather have the ghost physically choke you?
And you're alone.
And you're alone.
You're the tour guide there, and they're choking you.
The ghost is choking you.
No.
No, you're alone. Or you're with one other person, and the ghost shoves you into a 7-foot pit. 7 foot.
I can climb out, but still have fun.
Told you.
I knew it.
Come on, man. We knew you'd pick the pit.
We said Matt's gonna pick the pit. But we don't know how wide the pit is. What if it's like a 30-foot wide?
Yeah, like
7 foot
big pit. Whoa.
It's a big pit.
It's a big pit.
Yeah. I imagine it's like a hole punch pit. You know?
I was thinking more of like a big
cavern.
Yeah. Because it's in the caves.
But if it's in the cave, then to me it's
Get a running start to get up.
I don't know, man.
Girl. I don't know if that's gonna happen for you.
I also think it's like you're then stuck in a pit and a ghost that has already assaulted you.
He's like on the pit.
Yeah.
You know?
Or he could like jump in and then choke you. I feel like the choking, it like happens and then it's like, okay, now I have to get out of now I gotta get out of these caves. But you're in the pit and now you have to get out of the pit and then you have to get out of the like it just seems like a very long extra step of fear, you know? Like something scary happens and now you have to like get out. It could keep shoving you. It could then jump down and choke you. We don't know his intentions afterward. It's not a ghost. It's just a cave dweller.
That's worst case scenario.
Honestly.
Seriously, that is.
Like, is everyone seeing this ghost? And they're like, that is just
Has
a man,
anyone
sir.
seen The Descent?
That's true. Okay, thank you. We just needed to know. Okay, we're almost done with this guy. This is about the time I started paying my respects to the mummy at the end of my tour and stressing to people that what had happened to the spirit was beyond a campy ghost story. It was insensitive. The mummy was removed from their burial site and brought into the cave, a place the local tribe deemed a place of evil because of the howling sounds made by the wind.
Nice.
And it was wrong. Oh, yeah, exactly. And it was wrong, and the mummy was worthy of respect. And I kid you not, never again did I feel that same sense of dread. I do have many other stories, but these really cover the major bases. When you work in a haunted cave, giving haunted tours, and you start to get to know the spirits that reside there, you really start working with them. It becomes a partnership almost. We're both working together to scare people. And in the end, they're just coworkers. Damn. Good thing he started to be, like, respectful. Fucked up of that one George, motherfucker. Where'd they find the mummy?
I don't know. I'm also like, something's wrong with this person.
Them?
Yeah.
Because they enjoy their job.
Yeah.
But you have to think, like, people who hunt ghosts, like, they probably love that shit.
Us with a Ghost podcast. Oh god, those people are fucking dumb. Okay. Okay, I have one called Followed Me Home.
Hate that. That's the worst part.
that.
I feel like the cave people are like following bitches. You know what I mean?
They can like hear you walking
They're like, I'm gonna come with you home.
in your basement.
Oh, if not just a suburban cave.
Truly.
Okay.
Sometimes it leaks down there too. It's very cave-like.
Stalactites growing.
Mm-hmm.
Tights or mites? Which one's the top?
Stalagmites, I believe, are the ones growing from the ground.
Okay.
Stalactites, I think, are the ones from the sky.
Because they're tighter.
I don't know.
Like tight. Like that's tight.
That's so
Tight. Okay.
Q Dude 2 followed me home.
Yuck.
I have created a second Reddit account to tell you this story. I do not want a ghost story searchable on my account because most media now is traceable to your username.
And ghosts
All
are
right, Queen.
embarrassing.
I have been empathetic my entire life. When I was a toddler, I would see shadow people who came out of the wall.
That's like a little bit more than empathetic.
I called them gorillas. But the gorillas never really did anything bad other than scare me. Throughout my life, I have continued to have many experiences, and this is the most recent. Okay.
I feel like that started off real strong.
Remember, the tour guide in Seattle. Ooh.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah. The tour guide in Seattle, when we were sitting around for drinks at the last place, like we finally just like everybody just was hanging out and we all were exchanging ghost stories. She talked about seeing shadow people come out of her wall, and for her they were her friends. And then her sister said that she would see it all the time. She like finally spoke to her sister about it, and she said that she would see it, and it horrified her and they traumatized her and she didn't want to talk about it anymore.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was scary.
Ew.
And she grew up in like Louisiana and like Scotland, and like
they came out of the walls.
They like peeled off the wall.
Oh, that's the worst.
Oh, that's horrible. I was riding my motorcycle on an abandoned road. The road led
badass.
The road led into a state-owned conservation area, and the area was a thick forest and brush. A very steep hill on one side and a river on the other side, both close by the road's surface. I had been here many, many, many years before because it was a teenage drinking and smoking spot with a large cave. The cave had been explosively sealed by the conservation department after a series of violent crimes have occurred there. I have no idea why I wanted to revisit. The gorillas told him. I stopped and viewed the expansive, beautiful scenery. I looked up at the steep hill, and 100 yards up the brush, I saw what looked like a floating white plastic bag or perhaps a wispy cotton floating through the trees. I watched as it came through the trees slowly, walking speed. It floated down directly at me. As it got very close, it appeared more like smoke. The smoke moved from eye level to ground level, floated over the top of my shoes, floated slowly up my body, back up to eye level, 6 inches from my face, and then just disappeared. I looked all around me and it was completely gone. I went home and nothing happened for a few weeks. Then the knocking started. Knocking generally was in the TV room, and my wife and I just chalked it up to somewhat frantic settling of the house. The knocking went on and on. Finally, I had enough and started yelling at it to stop, and it mostly did. I was concerned that the smoke had followed me home.
You just like stand there and let that happen to you?
I mean, if you're a fight or flight and you're...
Freeze.
Yeah, freeze. I Google searched the area of the weird smoke and found this article which is the same location and time frame I was there. And then they link it.
Oh,
I haven't clicked it. This knocking continued, but slowed considerably. I suspect it slowed because the ghost now knew it had contacted me and I was aware it was there.
Horrifying.
Oh, so he's assuming that it made contact with him just for like communication.
Yeah.
The knocking generally followed me from the TV room to a second bedroom I often fell asleep in. I slept in the second bedroom because I like to go to sleep with the streaming computer on, and my wife doesn't like the TV or computer on when she sleeps. The second bedroom low-level activity continued for 2 years. Then it went to a higher level. I heard someone walking into the bedroom, and I would speak to it, convinced it was my wife, but no one was there. One morning, I awoke contemplating coming day when it spoke directly into my ear. I repeated the vocal sounds over and over and came to the conclusion it was just nonsense, gibberish. When it spoke to me, I wasn't in any way scared. This did not feel bad. It was very creepy, but I knew it wasn't evil. A few weeks later, I had fallen asleep and felt a tremendous pain in my head, like someone stuck a sword through my head, except the pain started in a small area and expanded like an explosion. It lasted only an instant. I shook it off, started to go back to sleep. Then the footsteps and small toy fell off a dresser. Jesus, now I was getting scared. I opened the laptop and restarted the show I had fallen asleep to. In the glow of the computer screen, the spirit started to manifest and become visible.
Shut
Fuck. I didn't sign up for that. I immediately left the room and went to the other bedroom. It didn't follow. I racked my brain of what it could possibly want, so I prayed. And then it came to me. The pain in my head is what it felt like when he shot himself.
What?
This ghost needed something from me, and it wasn't evil, just needed something. I suspected, I now knew. I went to the bedroom, told him I was sorry about how it ended. I prayed. I told him he was forgiven. He should forgive himself now. I told him that his family was waiting for him and they loved him even if he doesn't think so. And I personally felt great relief.
Oh, I wonder if what he links is like a story about the ghost or whatever.
That was 2 weeks ago. There have been no knocks since.
Damn.
So he had to lay the spirit to rest.
Yeah. That's crazy.
At least he was able to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's like so much responsibility. Like, can you imagine doing that to like the wrong type of entity and then you're just like
No.
pushed into a 7-foot pit?
Because, should we look at the link?
I don't know. I am scared.
Investigating. A body was found Tuesday morning at Sunbridge Hills Conservation Area, and authorities are considering the death an apparent suicide. Sheriff Pewitt said the body was that of a 62-year-old man from St. Joseph. This was in Michigan.
Okay, there you go. So that's the guy. Weird that
when he went to the cave, that spirit started following him. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And so everything became clear. Spooky as hell, man. Yuck. Okay, I have one more.
Okay. I think that should be good too.
Yeah. Thinking I've found a Wendigo cave, or perhaps something worse. Looking for opinions.
And I'm gonna give them.
By Kennard Skennard. So I'm an avid caver from West Virginia, and there's this cave not far that's been one of my favorites to explore. It's often my go-to cave to take friends and newcomers to get them into caving, as it's a rather easy, accessible, and not too challenging cave, although it is a rather large cave system. The first thing to note is there's never any wildlife seen in or near the cave, and I've only ever seen very few bats for as large of a cave as it is. Anyways, the first really strange thing to happen was me and my friends stumbling upon a pentagram made of salt, with a dead bird in the middle, circled by somewhat seemed to be freshly burnt out candles.
Witchcraft! The Blair Witch!
Obviously, it was freaky, but we took it to be a prank by some teens or something along these lines. I've always been very comfortable going through this cave and leading treks, but up until now, I had always been with a group of friends. One day, I decided to take my girlfriend through, so just me and her went. We didn't make it past the first chamber because I just had such an uneasy feeling and just felt as if I needed to get out of there. I'm proud of these people for choosing to follow those in these stories.
Except for this guy.
Yeah, except for the other guy that got haunted. My way of describing it is the feeling of being watched, but on steroids. I've been in some sketch places, but I've never had that sense of dread in all my life. The next thing to happen is when a group of us went and stumbled upon a newer looking jacket far back in the cave that was never there before. I wouldn't have taken it to be so odd, but it seemed to be a rather expensive jacket with no apparent damage or reason to just leave it laying randomly in this far back position of the cave. There was also nobody else around at this time. Someone was taken.
What is it with the caves that call people?
I don't know. But I don't like it. The next thing that happened was when, I think I did that. Oh, no. The next thing to happen was when a group of us friends were exploring, and on the way back, one of the most serious friends just seemed really strange and off. Finally, I asked him if he was good, and he nodded and quickly told me to just keep moving. Once we got out of the cave, he pulled me in private, which is really not like him, but he told me he didn't think it was a good idea to go back in there. I finally convinced him to tell me why, and he told me that he swore he saw a person back there. From what he could see, a very pale, lanky person. He couldn't quite make it out at first, but he said he noticed it following us. He even tried calling out a few times, but we didn't think nothing of him doing it at the time, as it's fun to yell and make echoes. Anyways, after this experience, I convinced the same friend to go back with me. God, I don't think this is a good idea to go. But just like, come on.
Yeah, clearly you're scared.
Right. Like, you don't want to go in there
Own it.
alone. Yeah.
Are these all men? Both my stories were men.
Yeah. The last one was a man. This one's a man. I can't remember my first one.
Probably. Women
It's giving man energy.
aren't going in the cave. They don't have to pick between getting choked in the pit.
No. I convinced the same friend to go back with me along with our other buddy to reach an extremely difficult place that I haven't been able to get to yet, seeing as I've been taking newbies. As we arrived at the cave, there was a man and woman camping nearby who were standing at the entrance. We made friendly convo and asked if they were going inside. They said no, they were just checking it out, so then we continued on. After reaching our goal and being at the dead end of a very tight spot, we laid and rested for a while. Then we heard people. We all heard it at the same time. As we looked at each other and squinted, we couldn't quite make out what they were saying, as it was very distant and echoed and muffled. But we could clearly make out that it was English, male and female voices. And we heard laughter and water splashing. Thought it was pretty odd because it was in the AM and we didn't expect anyone else around but those two campers, so we figured it was them. Anyways, as we were exhausted, we rested for a good while longer and shut our lights off to save our batteries. We remained quiet as we were just resting, and after a while we couldn't hear anymore. Then we went ahead and made our way back out of the cave, and as we exited, the man and woman was still there by the entrance. My friend asked, "So you decided to go in after all?" The man replied, "No, why?" And we just asked if anyone else had went in or out, and they said they hadn't seen anybody the entire time. At this point, we were creeped out as well, as we all clearly heard voices, but we didn't really talk about it much among each other. Much later, while doing research, I started putting things together in my head and realized my friend's description as being very Wendigo-esque. And then I recalled how Wendigo are known for being able to imitate human voices to lure their prey. I almost wouldn't believe what he said he saw, but if you understood the person I'm talking about, he's not someone to ever just make something up. Anyways, I hope you found this interesting, and I apologize for any errors, grammatical errors, but I hope to hear some opinions or your guys' thoughts.
I saw a video recently of someone claiming that there's a Wendigo in the cave, and it sounds like screaming, like distant screaming.
Ugh. Well, I think it's like anything to lure you out. So, like, I know that I've heard stories, or when I was on TikTok, I like definitely fell down that rabbit hole. And like, it would be people hearing like their brother calling from like the forest, but they're like, my brother literally lives in Florida, like.
Oh my God.
So that's terrifying. And like, just the simple act of like a creature that does that to lure people, and then like, he's like, or it is like, well, that human and man, whatever, like they caught their attention and they talked to them for a while, so maybe they'll come back out and talk to him and I'll get him. The thought process of a Wendigo.
Clearly. No, I knew.
It makes sense, honestly.
It does. I think that, I don't know, like, what is the lore? Like, do Wendigos eat people?
I actually have no idea. I know that they lure them, obviously. I know, like, not to follow it, or if you hear one, you, like, start obviously leaving.
I think that's, like, the main thing that's in the...
But I don't know, like, why they're out and about.
So ugly.
Yeah, well, have you ever heard of, like, not deer?
It's a not deer.
Yeah.
It's like the ritual.
What is their purpose? on this earth? What's any of our purpose? You know
It's
what
a
I mean?
cannibalistic monster
Oh, so it does
associated with winter and preys on weak and socially disconnected. It's up to 15 feet tall, emaciated, fangs, having chewed or missing lips.
Yuck.
Because it's cannibalistic.
So it does want to eat people then.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen The Ritual?
Mm-hmm.
The Wendigo is from North American Algonquian-speaking tribes.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
I hate it. So yeah, that's terrifying.
And that's like Midwestern tribes.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
So like they could be out and about around here.
Humanist.
Stop.
The whistle. The singing.
Wait, it was trying to lure Matt. It literally probably was. Shut the fuck up.
Ew.
They're like, that's been I thought we were all in agreement. Yeah. That's so scary.
The singing.
Yeah.
It's a girl Wendigo.
Yeah. I feel like I have freeze and then also probably like flight. Matt's got full on fight, which I feel like is not good.
Yeah, I guess situationally it can be really bad. I have flight and then fight.
Ugh. I don't want to go in a cave. I've decided.
Yeah, obviously not. I don't want to go in a cave. I don't want to go in the Appalachian Mountains. I don't want to go. We were in the Smoky Mountains and it was fine.
I feel like caves are scary because of people. I obviously don't trust the decision-making process of the people that are walking around caves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And often, like, caves... I mean, caves that are there for touring are one thing.
Right.
Caves that you stumble upon on a hike are another.
I know. You don't know what's in there. People, animals. They could collapse at any moment.
We used to mine a ton. Like, there's a lot of abandoned, unstable mines.
Taking nature into account alone, caves are wickedly not a good idea. And then add in any kind of supernatural thing, like you're fucked. That's not you're not a cave dweller.
No.
You know? It might
not
be
a lot
land,
of things are.
But it's in the land. You know what I mean?
And you're about to be part of it.
Just like you don't know, like you can't survive in the water. You're not a water creature.
No.
Anything in there has the upper hand on you. Same with caves.
Your eyes are not made for this.
No.
Why are you going in there?
I literally don't have even 20/20 vision in the full-on sun from staring at it.
From staring at it so much, bro.
I'm literally going to stare at the eclipse. I can't go in the caves.
No.
It gets slightly dark outside and I'm blind.
If you literally like are in your own home and you have to turn on lights to see.
Oh yeah. Why are you in a cave?
Why are you in a cave?
You deserve that
with a lantern.
With a lantern? You're not even gonna have like a fucking like
headlamp.
Or yeah. Take
Bitch,
whatever those like
light up shoes. Anything.
Anything. Oh my god. Ew, no, not a light up shoe.
No. I just thought that too.
Yeah. You just like see light up shoes like far away. And you're like, but they're right here.
Or like with just the glow of your shoes you see something.
Oh no.
No.
So have you guys ever gone to a cave? Please let us know at ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com. I
haven't been to a cave. I've been to the Whaley House.
Oh yeah. You went on the ghost tour. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So when we were in San Diego, we just so happened to find out that we were next to the Whaley House, which is an incredibly haunted house, that belonged to the Whaley family back in like saloon times. And we were like, fuck it. It's a rainy day. Let's go take a tour. She was good. She sold it. She was really good. And she's in time period clothing.
That's the worst.
And all of the lights are off except for like tea lights that they've put everywhere. And she was really good. There was one. Oh, okay. So we did have one minor experience, which was when we got into. Basically, that house was made into a legal bar, courthouse, anything that the Whaleys wanted because they had the money to do it.
Okay.
So there was a lot of bad shit going on.
Yeah.
It was even a galley at one point. They hung a man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But there was one area that was like a theater, like a children's theater. There was a stage and like rows of seating.
Hate that.
Bench seating. We were in the very back, and I literally at the same time I thought I felt something poke me on my lower back.
Yeah.
Mariel heard a thunk, and we both turned at the same time. It was unprompted, totally unprompted. We both went at the same time, and you were like, "Was that you?" And I was like, "Did you feel touched?" And you were like, "No, I heard something." I'm like, "I felt something touch my lower back."
Ew.
And then we went outside because it's like on property. Like, there's other shit that they put up, and there's 3 trees planted by one of the Whaley daughters, or the wife, and she planted them when they moved, and they're huge willows. They're like huge now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we were out there under them, and she's telling these scary stories. And then the tour wraps up. We go to the Whaley house. I get myself a little magnet. We come back out, and we hear music, and not like fucking radio music. We're hearing the faintest piano playing. And we looked at each other, and I was like, "Do you hear that?" And you were like, "Hear what?" And then you like listened for a second. We couldn't figure out where it was coming from. It sounded like it was coming from the trees, bro.
Stop.
We couldn't figure out where it was coming from. We were the only people there, and you went up and down the little quad thing to listen to where it was coming from. We couldn't figure it out.
Stop.
Like
I
saloon.
have full chills.
And that's the room that we got poked and
Ew.
And then we were the only people outside, and that heard it.
That's horrible.
Yeah, because the shop isn't even in the house. The shop is like 2 buildings over.
That is so scary. So worth it?
I think it was worth it. It was like $14.
Oh, yeah.
It was worth it.
And
it was like pretty long tour, and you go through basically the whole house, and it was booked.
That's amazing.
It was packed.
That's so gross. Well, I'll have to go to that.
Yeah.
If you have any ghost stories, please tell us.
At ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com. DM us. Tell us if you've ever been in a cave. Have you seen a Wendigo?
Yeah. Would you choose 7-foot pit or choked out for a little bit? Back around.
Thank you guys for joining.
And spilling the ghoul beans.
High heels on my tippies. Frank Sinatra version. My tippies. Dolce & Gabbana, that's all my titties.